2018 is already the year of the Battle Royale game. We can't go 2 days without seeing announcements about another new game aiming to capitalise on the success of PUBG or Fortnite, and many established franchises are getting in on the act as well. Even Call of Duty is adding a Battle Royale mode, with Black Ops 4 allegedly dropping the single-player campaign in favour of a multiplayer free-for-all to fill the content gap. But which ones should be on your radar? That's where this video comes in. We've rounded up 7 of the most unusual and interesting Battle Royale games due for full release this year, so you can plan your schedule while you wait for Undertale Battlegrounds to be announced. Here are 7 upcoming Battle Royale games that do things a little bit differently. Okay, this one isn't much of a surprise. The Darwin Project has been on the radar since Microsoft's conference at E3 2017, and true to Battle Royale form, it's available to play in early access right now. It's one of the most exciting Battle Royale games on the horizon, although the Royale bit of that is slightly misleading. The scale is drastically reduced with just 10 players on the map at any time. And while all Battle Royale games are about survival, this one does things differently. You've got to gather resources to craft the tools necessary to survive the icy post-apocalyptic climate of the North Canadian Rockies. And then, assuming you survive the environment, you track down other players, set traps and kill each other. It makes for a very dynamic Battle Royale game that builds slowly and ends with an explosion of action. It gets even more interesting though. The Darwin Project is framed as a reality TV show in the same mould as the Hunger Games. And the cool thing here is that an 11th player acts as the director of the show, able to see everything that's happening via a dashboard. From this position, they can make life miserable for the competitors and keep every match interesting. And in terms of viewer participation, the real-life audience watching a Darwin Project match can influence the director. A nice touch, and one that's very in line with the way modern audiences interact with games.
Shot to the chest, knocks him off the cliff, and this game is done.
Most Battle Royale games are pretty simplistic looking affairs. Sure, there's a grimy appeal to PUBG's brutalist Eastern Bloc deathmatch, and Fortnite's bouncy cartoon graphics are a joy, but both look slightly ordinary next to the crisp futuristic setting of Islands of Nyne. It has the same sleek sci-fi trappings of Halo or Crisis, and the differences don't end there. Like other Battle Royale games, the sphere of play is restricted by a gradually shrinking plasma field, but spawning is slightly different. The slow glide to the map replaced with a meteoric fast fall. But the biggest change is with the gameplay. There are no cumbersome menus or gradual build-ups here. This is a Battle Royale game that will suit hardcore shooter fans, a lean, twitchy take on the genre suitable for anyone familiar with CSGO. Watch the best streamers and you'll see some of the same skill sets in play: crisp control over movement and pinpoint accuracy. It's a more challenging prospect than the likes of PUBG or Fortnite, and it certainly won't be for everyone, but if the skill bar in other Battle Royale games feels too low for you, you can book tickets to the Island of Nyne by pre-ordering right now. You may have already had a chance to play the progenitor of Paladins Realm Royale while the mode was available in the vanilla game. But the fact it was removed actually proves that developer Hi-Rez Studios are really serious about making the mode work, to the point that it's going to be a completely separate, although thankfully still free game. It will still be a blend of hero shooter and Battle Royale, and it's expected to come out of closed alpha imminently. There are still elements of similar games. A building mode is being implemented, and it's still a case of 100 players whittling each other down. But until Overwatch decides to implement a similar mode, don't be surprised if it does, Hi-Rez is actually ahead of its competitors. It's easy to be cynical about the similarity to Fortnite, just as it was easy with Paladins' similarity to Overwatch, but the game has been a success in spite of it. If you're a Paladins fan looking to explore the world of Battle Royale games, this will be the place to come. Reality shows are a natural fit for the thrilling, spectator-friendly Battle Royale genre, and SOS embraces that completely. It's like Love Island with zombies and more overt violence. The idea is that 16 players are dropped onto an island crawling with undead menace, and only 3 can make it out alive. But killing, hiding and surviving aren't the only way to win. SOS uses something called the Hero Platform to give especially popular players an edge. You can automatically stream your game to a live audience, and if they like you enough, they can influence the outcome of the match by voting on what loot drops each player gets. This means you need a mic and potentially a massive ego to play SOS. It's a smart, modern take on the Battle Royale game that's just weird enough to work, even if current early access reviews aren't especially glowing. Is it for everyone? Almost certainly not. But the open emphasis on entertaining an audience guarantees that SOS will play differently from every other game on this list, providing, of course, that anyone actually tunes in to watch.
Friends, man.
Hunt Showdown is different again. There's no ever-shrinking map here and no randomised loot. Instead, you team up with another player and head out to hunt some monsters. The main complication here is that other teams are trying to do exactly the same. Think of it like competitive Monster Hunter with black powder rifles. But Hunt Showdown is a slightly tricky one because it's a case of what we hope it'll eventually be rather than what it is right now. The concept is brilliant, a mix of antique weapons and swampy horror set in the late 1800s. But at the moment the Steam reviews are mixed, largely because of the morass of technical issues preventing the game from firing both barrels. There's plenty to be positive about though. These are early days, and with veteran developer Crytek at the wheel, it's reasonable to assume people's voices will be heard. And using Fortnite as an example, the key metric that defines the success of a Battle Royale game is the ability to iterate and react to player feedback. Crytek plans to keep the game in early access for 12 months, and if the matchmaking and technical issues get fixed, this could turn out to be a blast. Okay, this one is stretching a few definitions of new Battle Royale game, but it's still interesting. Firstly, it's not entirely new. Instead, it's an expansion to the enjoyable zombie survival game Dying Light. You probably guessed that bit. Secondly, it asks questions of exactly how many players constitute a Battle Royale, because in this case, there are only 6. Play revolves around you being dropped into a zombie-filled area, naturally, to collect blood samples and get out before the sun goes down. The problem? There's only one helicopter. The best thing here is the way it makes you work with other players, and by work with, what we actually mean is inevitably betray. You can form fragile alliances to take down bosses, or risk other players leveling up faster by leaving them to fight powerful enemies on their own. It's a clever way of adding dynamic, emergent gameplay, and one that feels very in keeping with the scrambling for survival scenario. The global playtest is starting soon, and the link for signing up is in the description. We'll see you on the helicopter, or in truth, most probably not. And finally, we've got Radical Heights. This one is as early access gets, which explains the somewhat lukewarm response to its release. But it has potential. It uses many standard Battle Royale trappings with minor twists to keep things interesting. Things like a grid system with safe zones instead of the standard shrinking circle. You can also keep your cash between matches to spend in flashy vending machines in future games. But it stands out as a potential third option for anyone who wants to swap the grime of PUBG or the building of Fortnite with direct, neon-drenched buffoonery. The 80s aesthetic works well in this context, a garish explosion of twinkling lights, BMX stunts and trampolines, and it recalls the throwaway context of arcadey titles like Crackdown or Smash TV. Expect the patches to come thick and fast for the next few months, but if you fancy getting involved, it's free to play on Steam right now. And that's your lot. Did you spot anything on this list that would tempt you to try a Battle Royale game if you haven't already? Will you be sticking with Fortnite and PUBG for the foreseeable? Or do you wish the whole Battle Royale thing would just go away so you can enjoy your solo campaigns in peace? Please do let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you wish we weren't joking about Undertale Battlegrounds, and please subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly shows and features.